Come on.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the only podcast produced by three two-time winners of IMSA's Spirit of the Race Award. You're tuned into the Check Engine Podcast, hosted on Anchor.fm and streamed worldwide on all the platforms that you use to listen to your favorite podcasts. Nick, Andrew, and Tristan are here again for the final time in the calendar year 2021. What's happening, fellas?
Oh, not much. What's up with you?
Just came back from the department holiday party.
Yes, mine was last Friday.
I actually entered some tickets in the raffle, department raffle, and I won myself a Roomba.
You guys had a department raffle?
We had
in the wrong department.
There was Delta Sky Miles, there was 2 bottles of Cristal, there was a drone, there was
the departments that have money. I understand.
An electric
middle
bike.
Management, man.
And I won a Roomba, so I was pretty excited about that.
Jeez, BMW next year. He's winning the lease.
Yeah. If only any of our departments would be that cool. That'd be pretty slick. They pay for too many salespeople's vehicles. They have 300-400 vehicles out there with Ford SUVs and pickups. So,
well, there you go. You could win. Yeah. So, you'd win. Lincoln? I guess the fancy Ford
town car.
Sure.
All right.
Town car. Oh God, the town car. No, what is the
MK something?
If they still make a car, does Lincoln still make? Hi, we're a car podcast.
What cars do Lincoln make? Someone tell us.
That's relevance, counselor.
They do not make a car, so that's the problem.
Oh, there you go. So I wouldn't be getting.
They make a bunch of SUVs, anyways.
Navigator.
Yeah, there you go. That's safe.
So, what's up with you guys?
There was no car raffle at my Christmas party like there was at yours. I just heard.
I think you misheard, but whatever.
No. Well,
intentionally, as always.
Now it's my version. So
okay,
he owns the narrative now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Fuck you.
I have become ungovernable. No, just holiday party. Christmas is coming up. I'm getting excited as always. Every year, you have to say I would be more excited if there was snow. Clearly, that's not going to happen this year.
That's never going to happen again in our lifetime.
I know. My child will grow up in a world not understanding what a white Christmas is. That is, I hate it. I just hate it so much.
I'm not a fan of snow, so it doesn't bother me one bit.
But won't somebody think of the children?
It sounds like you are, so we're good.
The Bing Crosby classic hit "White Christmas" will mean nothing to this generation.
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of Christmas hits mean nothing to this generation.
What's another one?
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
There you go.
Don't you do that every year?
Not many people eating chestnuts these days.
Oh, just me.
Roasted
then? Okay.
or otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. Not even fried. Not even a fried chestnut in evidence.
Deep fried chestnuts. Call up the Wisconsin State Fair.
Have you ever had a chestnut? They're particularly oily nut.
Chestnuts frying in a deep fat fryer.
My oily nut.
And episode title within the first minute. There you go. The first ever CEP Christmas episode just got its title.
Is this our first? I guess it is, isn't it?
We've always ended like right after Thanksgiving. We normally don't record in December.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, that's cool.
So that's why we have a great idea for our first Christmas episode. Andrew, why don't you let the audience in on what we're going to be talking about?
Well, great Christmas. I mean, so a couple weeks ago I mentioned my eternal issues asking for the things that I actually want, right?
Yes.
And I mean, that's still ongoing, but it's fine. My thought was,
You haven't grown out of that in the last 14 days?
no, I really haven't. And I get it, it's very much not a unique problem in my experience. Pretty much more people than not that I talk to, at whether it's at work or even here, my wife and even parents, you usually after Christmas, you find out like 2 or 3 things that they would have wanted, whether it's things they buy for themselves or things
Yes.
like, oh yeah, this is, now on sale. I'll get it now. It's like, well, you wouldn't have had to get it on sale. I could have just bought it for you. And then you would have spent $0. So in an effort to kind of hopefully unlock a bit of myself that is otherwise sitting stagnant, what we're going to talk about. Right. Again, of course, another thing I've talked about on this podcast, I definitely do have a desire somewhere, either in an alternate universe or in a future where I become massively wealthy. I've always wanted to give someone a car with the big car bow.
Yeah. Like every commercial in December.
Yes. It doesn't matter what the car, it could be
You
a
want your own
92
December to remember event.
Exactly. It could be a 92 Celica. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I just want to give someone a car with the car bow. So in pursuit of those dual goals, my thought was for each of us to pick 2 cars, one a stocking stuffer, right? A small, cheaper car. And then your Christmas present, your dream Christmas present car, whatever that would be. What would you actually want to get as a gift? What car would you actually want to receive?
What one do you want to go outside and see the bow on?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No answer is too silly. Literally any car.
I'm really glad you specified no answer is too silly, because mine's going to be silly.
Tristan's bringing the
Audi
silly.
Quattro.
What was that? You both talk
pick the Audi Quattro.
It's funny, closer than you'd think, but no.
I knew it wasn't far.
So yeah, that's going to be the main topic, I guess we'll say. But there are a couple other things we need to touch on. It's been a while since we've actually done pace laps, but there's a couple things we need to get to before we dive into our Christmas wish list. We might now be the last ones talking about it, but I think we need to touch on the F1 finale. Max Verstappen in a last lap pass is the new world champion.
Wait, didn't we talk about this?
We did not.
Interesting.
We talked about what might happen at the finale, and then
that's what I'm thinking of.
And then we had Brad on, so we didn't talk about it.
That's
who, by the way, was awesome. And that episode was getting a ton of love on social. So thanks again for coming on, Brad. Quick side note, I was actually thinking, guys, what if now that we have him as a quote unquote source, what if we make him like a special correspondent moving forward? Like if there's something we need to touch on and like we don't know the answer to, we can just go record like a quick 10-minute hit with him on it and then bring it back into another one of our episodes.
Or shoot him a text and get him to send us a report, little audio file, little written
sound bites.
Little sound bites.
Yeah. I would love that.
I think he said he's game. So
sweet.
I think that might happen going into 2022. But yes, because we had Brad on, we didn't actually discuss the results of Formula One. Only fitting that the most memorable / controversial season on record has a very memorable / controversial ending. And we'll say this off the top. Congrats to Max.
Oh yeah.
As great, a great a season as he had, absolutely deserving. As would Lewis have been, if he would have come out on the right side of this. I am a racing purist. I know I'm in the minority here when I say I would have no problem with a race ending under yellow because it just happens sometimes. You get a crash late and you can't do anything about it. But I also know, given how entertainment focused motorsport has turned in the past decade, there was no way in hell they were going to decide a championship behind a safety car. So I think Mercedes team should have realized that right away and not relied on the officials and actually just pitted Hamilton right when that safety car came out. because it goes two ways. One, Verstappen pits behind you and you maintain the lead. Or two, he stays out on old tires and then you get a 1 or 2 lap shootout with fresher tires and the roles are reversed with how it actually happened. So I honestly think Mercedes is trying to scapegoat the FIA for a gaffe that they made.
I don't think so.
That's my
because
opinion.
my memory of it is that either the announcers were talking about the fact that race control said they were not going to allow people through during the yellow, or race control actually said that they weren't going to allow people through until the third to last corner where they said, actually, we're letting people through and go. Oh, race is over. What a bummer.
Well, yes. Okay. So to that point, Andrew, you're right. So the issue that people are having is normally when they let the lap cars through, they let every lap car through and they wait for them all to catch up to the back of the train. This time they only let the 5 cars between Hamilton and Verstappen through and they didn't wait. They just
that's your answer there. It has nothing to do with Mercedes.
So I am okay with the fact that they wanted to let them race for the championship. If they were going to do that though, red flag it. Flag it immediately. Let everybody pit. Now both guys get fresh tires. You get maybe 1 safety car lap after the red, and now you've got a 4-lap shootout. And in that case, Hamilton probably wins because he had the superior car all day. But at least at that point, you take the officials out of it. That would be how, and it's easy for us to come back on a Monday or Tuesday, or now here we are a week and a half later and talk about how it could have been. But
I guess, but it's also really easy for us to, which we did do before the race, by the way, make a comment on how strange and extremely off-putting it is for F1 to let the world at large know, hey, by the way, our championship is up for sale. You can talk us into letting you win. And that is exactly what seems to have happened the week before. And
Amen.
That's kind of exactly what seems to have happened during this race. Because if I'm placing money on anything, it's that Red Bull was calling race control, citing every single race where they've ever let any driver through under yellow for the entire history of F1 for the duration of that yellow.
Yeah, probably.
And so that's what I object to. The fact that even though at the beginning of the season, I said it was the season of Max Facts Verstappen, and it was, and I was right, but it just feels, yeah, exactly. It just feels less earned, less interesting when I really disagree with the way it was handled, because it wasn't even a full accounting of letting people through. Just like you said, Nick, it wasn't even the way that was supposed to go. It was just kind of like, we got a championship to race for. It can't finish under yellow. And it almost felt like panic. And then the other part of it is, I wonder, kind of along the same lines, how heavily the amount of talking between Red Bull, Mercedes, and race control and F1 got into this, simply because I can't imagine a world where, given the coverage going into the final race of the year, where F1 wasn't constantly calling Red Bull and Mercedes and saying, remember this, if you wreck the other driver, we will make sure you win nothing ever again. Because the second it was going into the last race with tied points, everyone went, Senna.
As did we.
Exactly. And there was no fucking way F1 was ever going to allow that to happen. It would never, ever be allowed to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely some soul searching that needs to be done within the FIA. And the FIA just got a new president. So Jean Todt retired or quit or something here in the last week or so, and they appointed a new president who, as one would, comes in talking about, going to have an iron fist and like, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And like, there's got to be like, you need to have set regulations and you need to stick to those regulations. And it's not up for debate. If this happens, if you are deemed that this happens, we are not going to call you and negotiate on the radio. We're going to tell you that your driver can either do this or be disqualified. Period. End of story. There needs to be a procedure now for the end of a race. If a safety car is required within 5 laps of the end, make the decision. And honestly, I don't care which one they make. Are we going to let the safety car play out and clean it up as fast as possible? And if it finishes under yellow, so be it. Or if the safety car comes out with 5 laps or less, is it an automatic red flag so we can get a show in for the fans? Whatever they decide it, stick to it. No last minute gambles. No last minute changes.
It's just like every sports rule that's ever been open to any kind of interpretation. You're going to get, last minute pass interference calls that roughing the passer calls to decide football games or whatever else. It's anything that's open to interpretation is always going to get criticized. And, they made a call late and that looks bad. Now the question is, what, if any, nefarious activity was going on? I don't know. I'm not all that sold on any kind of conspiracy theory, but I do think it was. Yeah. I think it was a bad judgment call. But there's also it made it as far as the last race and they were tied, which was awesome. And to me, it wasn't enough to ruin my kind of newfound interest in F1 to just write it off at this point. So I think it's something that, Nick, I think the more set rules we can get, the better. If we can take away interpretive ones, basically. So.
I wasn't saying anything I said to sound conspiratorial because I don't feel like anything I said was in fact a conspiracy. F1 told you the race before that, hey, you can talk us into winning. You can talk us into favorable rulings.
Yeah, it was broadcast to a worldwide audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Sky Sports.
It's absolutely not a conspiracy. That really happened. And if it didn't happen here, again, exactly like what you said, Tristan, this is playing inside the rules. This is the difference between the Patriots and God, who's the coach that's always complaining about shit the Patriots do? The Patriots and the Ravens, right? This is Bill Belichick, who knows the rule book inside out and backwards, and John Harbaugh, who's a really, really good football coach, but maybe doesn't read for nuance. You know what I mean? He doesn't necessarily have the same sort of trickery. And so if you are like the Patriots and you win a game by that, remember that one game where he, did some trick with the timeouts, like took 2 consecutive delay game penalties and then did a timeout, which ran 90 seconds off the clock, something like that.
Yeah. Because defensive penalties, etc. Yeah. Offensive penalties run time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
And John Harbaugh was so salty about that. This is essentially that. Is it wrong? No. Is it outside the rules? Hell no. Does it take a little something away from me personally? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. I will also be watching next year. So what did they do wrong? Nothing.
Absolutely. We're all tuning in, and especially with the new regulations that are coming out next year, the new type of car that everyone's got to build, the new specs that everyone has to build to. Teams with more, obviously a bigger infrastructure, better, more experienced decision makers in place, all of those types of things might figure it out quicker. But I think at least early on in the season, it might be, there's a better chance of a complete re-rack. Who's going to touch on it first before everyone, all the big teams start to figure it out, is going to be really interesting next year. And I just want to, again, Max did absolutely nothing wrong. Lewis did absolutely nothing wrong.
Nope.
Both of those guys were absolutely 100% deserving of the championship if they were to get it. Lewis, I thought the way he handled everything at the end, he didn't go to the prize ceremony. He didn't go to the in the press room presser afterwards, but that immediate interview that they do right after they get out of the car, he's on the podium. He didn't want to be there. And he may have gone to his hotel suite or his yacht or whatever and busted the TV off the wall and whatever, but in private, but he showed so much class.
Oh yeah. 100%.
In the moment.
That was a great interview.
It was just a great look on him. There was the only real Facebook argument I ever got into was with a guy who was talking about, if you show me a good loser, I show you a loser. It was his thing. And I said, Mario Andretti was a very gracious loser, best driver of all time. Richard Petty, very gracious loser, won 200 NASCAR races. Lewis is in that category. Like, he did not want to be there with every fiber of his being, but he sucked it up and he did it. And it was a really good look on his part.
And to add to that, Nick, I mean, a lot of people who are good losers because they're not losing a lot.
That's very true.
That's legit. That's to counter that guy's point. It's like, yes, he was a loser, quote unquote, that day in second place for the entire World Cup shebang there, but like, he won a bunch of races and has won a bunch of championships prior, and so he has the luxury to be a good loser. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, but also on the other hand, being a good loser doesn't cost you anything. I don't think you have to have a lot invested in. You don't have to have a lot of wins under your belt in order to earn the position of being a good loser. You know what I mean? Like the concept of sportsmanship exists outside of that.
Right. And just one other point on just the performance of Lewis and Max. Like, you see these just tooth gnashing, rip each other's hair out battles that they were having on track. And as hard as they were battling one another, they were still 10, 13, 22 seconds ahead of third place as they were doing this. Like those two are absolutely on another planet in terms of raw pace and just pure driving talent, at least on the F1 grid. It is insane.
Definitely. And that's always one thing that got me, right? There'll be that with maybe it's a little bit of an off day. Maybe it's 7, 8, 9 seconds ahead of third place, and dueling, and one or both of them would be like, oh, the car's just off today. And you're like, all right, man.
The car is off today, and you guys have been trading the lead back 3 or 4 times, whether it be on track or pit stops. And like, you could stop, get out, go to the bathroom, eat a sandwich, get back in the car, and you still wouldn't lose second place.
It's like, yeah,
it is insane how fast those two are.
They're so quick. They're so good.
Yeah. So again, both deserving. Made a hell of a watch. Congrats to Max. But the FAA's got some serious soul searching to do in the next couple of months before the season kicks off again.
First of many, I think, for Max.
Oh yeah, especially because Lewis isn't going to be around for that much longer. I think he's going to be 37 next year.
Yeah.
So, even if he is, it's unless he's like a Tom Brady, like, you think it's not going to be at the same pace, right? The same. At some point, it's going to start to drop off a little bit, the performance, but
that's true.
You never know. So we'll put a bow on that. We got to keep moving along. I've got one other thing, and this is a question specifically for Andrew before we move into this Christmas piece. So, Andrew, does the name Albert Bierman mean anything to you?
It sounds roughly familiar.
So the reason I ask you specifically is he is the head of Hyundai's R&D department. He was the one responsible for creating the N brand, as well as the Kia Stinger, the Genesis G70, the EGMP platform. Albert Bierman has announced his retirement.
Oh, man.
So hopefully they did announce a replacement. Chung Kook Park, who was some other high up position in Hyundai, is taking over for Mr. Bierman. But the visionary that created basically all the cool stuff that Hyundai and Kia Group is doing is leaving, and that always makes me nervous.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know what happens when you get a brand / sub-brand / whatever that gets such incredible momentum, and then that person leaves. You hope that they can sustain it. You know what I mean? Kind of one of those things where, in the face of pandemic, in the face of everything else that went on, they still managed to find a race team committed enough to build the Elantra N before it actually existed. They still managed to find ways to engage in the hot new sectors, right? And create cars that, while they may have been slightly stinky from the factory, everybody wants, and stuff like the Palisade. This, Kia is still making the Stinger and the Telluride and all the other kind of slightly quirky, but typically pretty popular now these days, things that they're doing. We'll see what happens from there.
Yeah. I mean, to your point, hopefully they don't lose momentum, and hopefully the person who's taking over, Mr. Park, understands he's got to, right? The overwhelming positive response to everything, and since it's come out, and doesn't try to do anything to rattle the cage too much, so they can just keep chugging along and make good drivers' cars.
Keep iterating, keep poaching the best people to make your sports cars, because you know what? That shit works.
Mr. Bierman was actually poached from BMW, it says. Exactly. He came over in 2015 after, quote, decades at BMW.
Say what you want about this or that, but if you can't build them internally, then hire them.
If you can't beat them, join them or poach them.
Exactly.
So, just wanted to touch on that. It may not be significant right now as we talk about it, but if we see any major shifts in Hyundai in the next couple of years, we may have a nucleus, a genesis of that point here. So, want it noted.
Genesis.
See what I did there? All right. Anything else from you guys around the horn before we dive into this?
No, just that GM's holiday commercial is unbelievably shitty this year. It's about a dude whose wife dies.
Whoa. I haven't seen it. Whoa.
Yeah, no, it's a
feel good
life commercial.
Yeah, he keeps going out to his shed. There's an old Chevy convertible in there that doesn't run or doesn't start. It was his wife's car. And it actually shows him sitting in it in the barn crying. And then
he goes out every day to cry in the car.
And then his daughter sneaks the car out to a local shop, gets it up and running. And that's
he'd notice it if he'd notice it if he went to go cry in it every day.
I assume he was crying somewhere else at the time because it was winter? ?
Plot holes.
Plot holes in this commercial.
So it's a heartstring commercial.
Never mind.
A lot of people I know love it.
Really? All my homies love dead wife commercials?
Feel good commercial of the year.
Yeah. I don't know. Now I'm just kind of getting sick of it because it plays every commercial break on NFL games like 3 times.
Yes. That's how I formed such a strong opinion about it, and I saw it 60 times yesterday.
Yes.
So maybe if it's like once a day, it's not that bad, but yeah. They're laying it on real thick.
Nothing's going to stand up to the Bernie's Mountain Dog pickup truck commercial.
Did he have a dead mom too?
No. I believe that was last year's GM commercial where
I don't remember it.
The guy whistles and a Bernie's Mountain Dog puppy comes tromping through the snow, and he's like, "I got this for you," and she goes, "I got you something too." She whistles and like a Silverado comes bounding over the top of the hill.
You know what? They played that one too.
Yeah, I like that one better because it doesn't involve dead spouses.
Dead anything.
Yeah, dead anything. Good point.
What the fuck were they thinking? That's so stupid.
Anything else?
No, that's it. That's it.
All right. So before we get into this, one last time, let's remind everybody how to get a hold of us over our little mini holiday break here. So you can find us on social media. You can go to Facebook. You can look up Check Engine Podcast, and our name will appear, and our logo will appear, and you can click on it and communicate with us. Andrew, where can they find us on Twitter?
At Check Engine Pod.
And Tristan, how about Instagram?
Also at Check Engine Pod.
So be sure to like, follow, share, post, DM, reach out how and when you can. Give us topics. Let us know what you like or dislike about the show. Ask us questions that we can answer. Thank you in advance for all that stuff. Now, Andrew, let's fill our Christmas stockings with cars.
Christmas stockings. Yeah. So I forget the exact figure we said. Did we say under 35 for the stocking stuffer? 35,000.
35 or less for the stocking stuffer,
35 or
and
less.
no limit hold'em on the
Oh, yeah.
Christmas car.
No. Infinite money for that. That is the dream car. So yeah, like I said, what car would you actually want to see outside in the driveway with a big bow on it? I guess you would have to have like a car stocking thing too. Oh, that could be kind of fun. Be like a car cover, but patterned like a stocking.
Oh,
That's nifty.
business opportunity.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, but if that's your stocking stuffer, like, wow, that's a hell of a Christmas.
Yeah.
What would I actually want? I mean, I see no reason why I should pretend differently. If I was actually going to receive a car, I would actually want it to be the Elantra N because I love my car and I have a great time driving it every single day. But it does look like a real kick in the ass to drive that car with 280 horsepower and
So
300.
This is your stocking stuffer.
car.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Start small, go to the big. You open
Yeah.
your stocking first on Christmas, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would say the Elantra N. I mean, there's always the traditional appeal of the Veloster N, but the chassis in the Elantra is just so much more competent. I gotta know what this thing drives like, just generally in life, and I feel like it would just be one hell of a commuter.
No qualms with that. I can't.
That's all I can possibly say about it.
No arguments from me.
Yeah, you can't argue against that. Tristan, what do you got?
I am going to jam in my stocking an Audi A3.
That's under 35, huh?
It is just barely. It's like
34,999.
Yep.
Of course.
But yeah, Audi A3 for me in the stocking.
Oh, I mean, do we need to give details? I'd want mine like the light blue. There aren't really many options for the N, so I can't like give a lot of specifics. But yeah,
the N line blue.
Yeah, the N line blue and the I would want the double clutch, the paddle shifters for sure.
There you go. Tristan, any other details? Do you want what is that Audi gray that you like so much?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're looking at cost, there unless it's extra, but they do have a nice gray, which is actually they do call it gray, Manhattan gray metallic, which is pretty good. But I do actually quite like the light blue that they have, which actually on the car is pretty cool. It's atoll blue.
Atoll blue.
Yes.
Atoll?
Bikini atoll.
Yeah, atoll.
Yeah.
Atoll.
Island blue.
Island blue, yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's not gray because everybody's car is effing gray.
That's if you had a car company, that's what you color your gray option. Effing gray.
Effing gray.
Effing gray. Yeah, that'll be mine. Effing gray and son of a bitch black.
Son of a bitch black.
another goddamn silver.
That's right. Son of a bitch, it's black.
And shoot me now white.
Yeah. Try to clean it black.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah. So for me, I thought about kind of going a similar route to what I currently have. And I thought I looked it up. I'm like, what's the step up to an RS from an ST? Doesn't fit the bill. RSs are so expensive.
That was my look at the Golf. My look at the Golf R yielded the same results.
I was like,
Quite a
wow. Okay. So I'm gonna stay in the Hyundai group. I think for under 35, a Veloster N.
Veloster N.
Classic. I mean, I don't think it's close. You get your fun hatchback. You don't need a ton of power. I mean, again, it's small, it's nimble. We just talked about how the N line has really turned Hyundai into like makers of a driver's car. You know, it's not something I plan on tracking all the time, so I don't need a bazillion horsepower. And I think it would make a great commuter car. So The Veloster N is my stocking stuffer. And I would probably copy you as well, Andrew, and just go with the N blue. I did see one.
So great.
I've seen it in white with the red trim. I think that red trim really does send it home. It doesn't matter really what the main color is. It looks great in white, but I've seen it in that N blue in person. And not just like at the Hyundai booth at an IMSA race, but like I've seen it driving around, and holy shit, does it look good. So
yeah, looks fantastic.
I would definitely do it in the N blue if I had my choice.
Nice. I like that. So the main present. This is always the hard one, isn't it? You at least for me in real life and here too. I thought about infinite 911s, right? I love the
GT2 RS.
I love the GT2 RS. I love a Miami blue with a brown interior, just something that's just really genuinely repulsive with a Targa top. And that would be a good
Anything
choice.
That's going to piss off Chris Harris?
Yeah, but the Targa also looks really cool. And now I'm actually talking myself into this. But it is just it's a kind of a lame car in some way. Maybe it's because of the Targa, maybe it's because it's sort of like the unfun sports car, the 911. It's like the one where you don't want to meet other 911 owners, I feel like, even if you own one. But because it would be blue and brown and in some ways repulsive to those people, I like the idea of that.
Oh, okay. If you own the one you had. I was going to say, there's Porsche corrals at every racetrack you go to. I think they do want to meet each other.
Only Andrew would buy a car.
I wouldn't want to meet them. Yeah, no.
Yes, with your car in your color configuration. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But I think even sillier and even more ridiculous and really on like the scale of Christmas, right? Which is kind of about, in some ways, about the things you don't need. I would love to see, with a color matched bow around the top and tied in the front and the back, a purple Urus as my Christmas present. And yes, it is easily 50% because it is the best purple I've ever seen.
Why is that the reason why the bow has to be matching too? Is just because you like the purple?
I'm trying to pull up the exact name of the color. I don't remember exactly what it is because it's in Italian. Viola Pacife. Oh my God. It's like royal purple. It is the best color of all time.
As only Lamborghini can do, right? It's not going to be, nothing about it's going to be subtle. It's going to be royal. It's going to be right in the middle of the range, so it pops as much as possible.
That's right. This purple, yellow interior, the yellow calipers. I don't care about anything else in this, several $100,000 car, but that would be an unreal Christmas present. I would not know what to do with it. I would freak out, obviously, but this feels Christmassy to me.
I think your suspicion would get the best of you. You walk out and you'd see the Urus and the bow, and then immediately go, "What are you trying to do?"
Yeah, exactly. What's
the real story here?
It starts at 200 and we'll call it 220,000. I'm sure the paint alone is 7.
Of course,
call it 250K all in, right?
Sure. When you get all the different custom bits on it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, there's probably like a extra heated this and that package and upgraded infotainment. Yeah, let's go with all that.
Let's do that too. I'm not paying for it. It's a gift.
Exactly. Just throw it all in. Oh, 641 horsepower. That is sick. That is disgusting.
Woo.
Oh, yes, that is what I want to see for Christmas with the purple bow in the purple and the yellow interior. Make it sick.
I didn't see that coming. An SUV. I didn't think an SUV was going to make our list. Way to keep me guessing, man.
I just really like this thing. It started off, I didn't like it. Now I really, really, really like it.
So what made it grow on you?
I have no idea. Because I was so sick of it. I have no idea because I was so sick of it. After it launched, every time this was, pre-pandemic in a world where I used to go to the gym, they would have all the TVs and, Entertainment Tonight and all this stuff. All you saw in any media coverage was Lamborghini Urus in black or silver.
Or yellow. The yellow
Yellow was pretty popular as well.
Yellow was pretty popular.
And I got so sick of it. And then I saw one at one of the at a track, I think it was, when we actually started going places. And I was like, oh, holy shit, look at it. Like, actually see it, not in pictures, not in video. Seeing it in person, it's like, what the hell? That thing is awesome.
It's super nice. Cassandra's up here. The new exotic place near us has one. It's taller than I expected. Actually, like standing right up next to it.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a real SUV.
Yeah. The one they have is black on 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 black. But hey, they only got one, and they're not a Lamborghini dealer. So
right, of course. Yeah. Yeah, that what a Christmas this would be.
It'd be pretty nice. Gotta say, it'd be pretty nice. On December 6th, you get an Elantra N, and on the 25th, you get a new Urus.
St. Nick's gift. St. Nick's gift, of course. Non-Catholics don't know.
That's a great. That's a great.
Hey, we
year.
know. We know.
We know here.
Yeah.
All right, Tristan. What's your big Christmas present wish list thing? Car.
My big Christmas present is something that literally doesn't have a price. Unfortunately,
MasterCard.
It's a one-off. Sent it to you in Discord.
Oh,
it is Ken Block's new ride.
Really?
Yeah. Based
the
on
e-tron Hoonigan.
Yep, based on the e-tron GT, and then heavily modified with help from Audi to recreate the body shape and the wings with an update. I think it's very reminiscent. It's of Christmas gifts I've asked for in the past.
What, Hot Wheels?
Nope, because here, let me tell you a quick story so it makes sense.
Okay.
For me, when I was a child, there was always the regular Christmas list, and then there was what you told Santa. And you tried to catch him out so that there's no way that if my parents are Santa, I never told them this. It's a big secret.
Mm-hmm.
And twice the secret Santa gift appered. And
so you still believe in Santa is what you're saying?
I'm not going to comment on my belief in Santa.
That's right.
Because I don't know who's going to listen to this, Nick. We don't want to be out there giving anybody any kind of thoughts about the matter. We're not a Santa podcast.
Hey, we got it in.
But this would be when I was a kid. I asked for a Smokey the Bear stuffed animal with purple mittens on him, and he arrived under the tree. And this would be my stump Santa gift. It's not a production car. It's out there. It's crazy. It's one-off. And when I was just reading through articles, just looking through cars, I stumbled upon this and was like, if cost is no option, literally sky's the limit. Could I pay Ken Block and Audi to make one of these for me, but leave the radio in it?
Wait. Leave that part in. I want that.
Yeah. So to me, this is the perfect, back in the day, the talk boy, the toy that nobody needed but everybody wanted. There's no utility here. It's strictly just buy me a gift that I don't need because I want it.
Sure. Yeah, that's what's yeah, exactly. Kind of the same thing, right? I would usually not daily drive a SUV, and it definitely wouldn't be a Lamborghini, but that is what I want to see. The purple mittens. It is the purple mittens.
It's the purple mittens.
Yours actually has purple mittens.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, it's a purple Smokey the Bear with yellow mittens. But
okay.
Yeah,
all right. Fair enough. What about you, Nick? How did you live your Christmases?
I'm just wondering now how much that actually cost Audi to make. If you had to throw a price tag on that car,
less than you'd think. You know what? Because I don't know. I'm just looking at the silhouette here. It doesn't
It's
look...
mostly just mainly taking the base GT and chopping it significantly and fitting a bunch of custom bodywork on it.
But the fact that it's one of one...
Right.
Yeah, but it would be on an existing platform. Like, I would imagine that they could build more of these. It's just that they won't.
They won't.
500?
They could.
500,000?
Yeah.
Does
that seem reasonable?
I honestly kind of think it feels like too much, simply because... What is this built on their existing electric platform, Tristan? Or
yeah,
is this a new platform?
Yeah, it's built on an e-tron GT that they just chopped. They just chopped it and took the back row of seats out of it and redid the outside.
No.
I think it would be more in...
What kind of modifications do they have?
You know, like testing and rework, than it would be in like the design phase, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Just trying to see if the article you shared, Tristan, has anything that they actually, like, what actual performance modifications they made.
First
it says
impressions
the body
of this,
modifications.
It does. How much?
It's got two electric motors. They haven't published power figures, but this will probably be the torquiest tuning car.
Well, I should fucking hope so.
And it actually exists. It's not just a render. If you scroll down far enough, he's actually walking around it,
right?
And it looks like some kind of spaceship.
From design to reality in just over a month.
See, it wasn't that much. Pretty much design the body.
Yep.
Yeah. Says you can do
a lot of work.
Spinning into a donut at 93 miles an hour directly from standstill.
Wow.
What? Excuse me?
What?
That's in here.
From standstill to 93 miles an hour with doing a donut with a corpse in the driver's seat.
Yeah, instantly dead.
As you've been snapped in half.
So Ken's next Gymkhana video will be his last.
That's right.
He's going to try that.
Jesus Christ. What a descriptor.
That's what it says right in the article. Quoted Ken Block in Motor Trend. I'm gonna say like 500K. I feel like that's a pretty decent number for this.
That seems like a bit to me.
A little high. All right. Well,
a lot of carbon fiber, so
that's right.
Yeah. No. Okay. That's about the point. I said it still seems like a lot.
Anywho's.
Now, Nick, what's your big present?
So this is actually, to me at least, not very silly. It's one that I've brought up in multiple different iterations of this Dream Garage theme that we've worked on in the past. The last high performance version of a real Corvette, it would be a C7 ZR1, and I would get it in the C7.
What?
C7.
I'm not familiar.
I know you're not. But it's the last good one.
That was,
and I would get it
for, that was like 1962?
It was 2019, actually.
Oh, sorry.
It would be 2019 C7 ZR1 in Sebring orange, which I just call Check Engine Podcast orange.
Which is fair. It is ours now.
And for the hell of it, I'll get a matching bow too, just because.
Oh, Andrew, yeah,
you can do it. I was thinking the red bow because it's Christmas. I was going to get red, but if you're getting purple, I'm going to get orange on mine.
My bow will arrive in tatters on the top.
So they do have one of those.
Doing a donut.
They do have one of those at Cassandra's, close to us, and talking to these salesmen, 1,000 horsepower to the rear wheels. On the lot for $186,000.
Why?
He's like, we will absolutely get 180 for this.
All right.
Because people know it's the last like really, really good performance Corvette. So, or not last true Corvette. The new performance Corvettes are going to be great. They're just not Corvettes. They're C8s. So that would be mine. So I'd go Veloster in on St. Nick's Day as a little appetizer, and then the main course would be the C7 ZR1 in Check Engine Podcast Orange. And from now on out, that's what I'm going to say. I'm not going to say Sebring Orange anymore.
Fair enough. Interesting.
Let it be known. Let it be written. Let it be done.
Well, I mean, I think if any of us actually managed to get that, yes, we would each be extremely suspicious of how that happened. But
we'd be very thankful, also.
Especially mine was because mine was probably stolen from Ken Block. So.
That's true. Or maybe you would be expected to do the next Gymkhana film.
Yeah,
it would be the boringest one ever.
But no, that's not what I hear. You'd be dead in the driver's seat at 93 miles an hour.
0 to 93 miles an hour in a donut.
Very exciting for exactly one donut. It's like my entire life.
What?
Very exciting for one donut.
Oh. That's funny.
Yeah, so if you want to contribute to these gifts, patreon.com/CheckEnginePodcast.
That's right.
That would help.
We're funding the best Christmas of all time, but for us.
Or buy more merch.
Buy more merch. That's right.
But you can't do it anymore. Actually, now that I think about it, if you're listening to this, the merch is literally on its way. It is shipping as we are recording this on December 20th. So, if you did purchase, thank you, and maybe potentially, possibly be on the lookout for some more stuff in the spring. We'll see. Anything else we got to do here, folks, before we wrap up for 2021?
No, let's get out of here. Nice short hour. Haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, how about that? Since Anchor took the limit off,
yeah,
we've hit or an interview. We've done hour interviews with like Telitz and those guys, but
with busy people.
With busy people. Yeah. But just a quick recap: Andrew, Elantra N, and a purple Urus.
Mm-hmm.
Elantra N in the N blue.
Oh yeah.
Tristan, the Atoll blue Audi A3, and the e-tron Hoonigan. I don't know if you get a choice in color on that one.
Gray.
It'll be gray and red.
Gray and red. Yeah.
And red. Yes. And red.
And then I'll take the N-line blue Veloster N for St. Nick and a CEP orange C7 ZR1 for Christmas. But we know we're never going to get that. But we do hope that y'all listening are going to get everything you like for Christmas or you're wishing for Christmas. Thank you for sticking with us today. Thank you for sticking with us in 2021 through a kind of weird schedule with a big break in the middle. We very much appreciate that. We don't want you just to listen, though. We want to interact with you. We mentioned how to find us on the socials. On whatever platform you're listening to us through, please leave us a review, preferably a good one, and or hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything. All that happens is you get notified of any new content that we put out. And since we're going on a little mini break here over the holiday season, might be good to hit that subscribe button to know when we get back at it in 2022. If you're really into what we're doing, would like to support us monetarily, buy us these cars. We mentioned patreon.com/CheckEnginePodcast. There's also the support button at our homepage, anchor.fm/CheckEnginePodcast. Every cent pledge is put towards getting us these cars and or making this podcast a better experience for you, the listener. None of it really goes back into our personal pockets. So thank you in advance. Guys, I don't know if we really need a individual round the horn thank you on this one, but I'll leave it up to you.
I think we can just go for thanking our listeners for a great year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
This has been a great year. I don't know if you guys saw I got the Spotify Wrapped piece. 10 different countries listen through Spotify. Our followers were up 55% on that platform. That one platform, great numbers. We actually got, now I can't remember what country it is, but we charted in a different country. Kuwait. We charted in Kuwait.
Hey.
So there's another country. There's another on Apple Podcasts. So there's another country heard from there.
Shout out to Kuwait.
Shout out to Kuwait. So we thank each and every one of you for your continued support. It's been a hell of a year, guys, both for the podcast and for all of us personally. Big events for all of us this year. So
everybody,
as crazy as 2021 was, I think it was pretty good for the three of us, and the listeners of this have a lot to do with that. So thank you, everybody. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy New Year. Stay safe. We love hearing from you. We love recording this for you. We cannot wait to do it again in 2022. Until then, take care.